From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now on the Afternoon Edition, nearly 40,000 University of California employees are on strike, and they have demands for campuses across the state. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Ann Makovic. Those UC workers have healthcare and research-related roles. Our Veronica Macias was in Berkeley to hear some of their concerns and what the university system is saying about negotiations.
Scenes like this one are playing out throughout the entire state of California this morning at all 10 of the UC campuses. You have patient care workers, service workers, and researchers. Meanwhile, the University of California has released a statement saying that these workers are spreading misinformation and not negotiating in good faith. However, workers out here that we've talked to say they're experiencing unfair labor practices. Workers say that they're feeling like this 3-day strike is going to push their bargaining. You have workers out here saying that they are sounding the alarm about understaffing that's impacting critical research at this world-class institute.
On my end, when our staff are short-staffed, we simply just cannot provide the quality of supplies that we typically do to researchers, and in turn it completely negatively affects them. I mean, without the supplies that they need, they can't create consistent, reliable research, and that's the research that ends up changing the world.
The majority of the strikers here, researchers and service workers. Meanwhile, patient care workers over at UCSF also telling us UCSF emergency rooms have twice the rate of patients just giving up and leaving before they could receive care compared to the national average. This strike going on for 3 days.
More potential layoffs at East Bay schools. Today, the Oakland Unified School Board is going to vote on authorizing preliminary layoff notices for more than 100 workers. The district says it is $95 million in the red. The district also considering school closures to balance their budget. 5 Oakland charter schools could be on the chopping block after this school year. It is a move that would impact more than 1,500 students. Hundreds of school staffers at San Francisco Unified District are going to get preliminary layoff notices. Leaders voted unanimously to make cuts to avoid a state takeover in the midst of a $113 million budget deficit. We're talking about 395 positions potentially laid off, including teachers, social workers, counselors, and teachers' aides. The district says low enrollment is to blame for its budget deficit. We also learned from the district that 80% of its budget is spent on staffing.
We have a very limited amount of teachers, and so if we lose any of our teachers, it would be very, very difficult for us to be able to operate and teach all of our classes correctly.
Preliminary layoff notices will be sent out by March 15th. The district will finalize its decision in May. On a much more pleasant note, taking you live outside, this is a look toward Ocean Beach. It is a warm Wednesday afternoon, feeling very spring-like out there. Meteorologist Jessica Birch is in our virtual view studio with a look.
I honestly think we just skipped spring and went straight to summer today. Here's what's happening for us as we head outside. We're warming up into the upper 70s today, down into the Santa Clara Valley. Along the beach, like you just saw, we're sitting in the 70s this afternoon in areas like San Francisco, Pacifica, all the way down to Half Moon Bay, where it is still a little bit breezier just along that shoreline right now. That'll change as we head into the afternoon hours. Up into wine country we go. We're sitting in the low 70s near Napa, Santa Rosa, and making our way into the Santa Clara Valley. 77 today near San Jose, and we're going to see a repeat of this as we head into our forecast tomorrow too, with daytime highs still above average by about 10 to 15 degrees. Now, as we take a look at the winds, they are pushing offshore. Gusty still near Half Moon Bay, sitting around 22 to 25 mile per hour wind gust. That dies down into the evening hours tonight. We're still left with clear skies, and we'll see clear conditions until we head into this weekend's forecast, where rain starts to rain starts to come back into the forecast as we head into Saturday and Sunday. I'll have more on why that's happening coming up in just a bit, but for now I'm going to send it back over to you.
All right, snapped back to reality. Thank you, Jessica. San Francisco's new Central Subway is already closed, at least temporarily. Water intrusion is forcing Muni to cancel service at the Chinatown Rose Pack station. Cancellations begin today, and service is going to be impacted at several other stations as well. Until March 14th, Union Square, Market Street, Yerba Buena, Moscone, County and 4th and Brannan Street stations all going to be closed. Then there will be no T 3rd Street service. A bus shuttle is operating between the Chinatown, Rose Pack, and 4th and King stations. 30 Stockton and 45 Union Stockton lines will not be impacted. Tonight, Oakland voters are going to get their chance to hear from 3 of the 10 candidates running to be the city's next mayor. Longtime Congresswoman Barbara Lee, former Oakland City Council member Lauren Taylor, and Rena Webb, the former chief of staff for former Mayor Sheng Tao, all going to make their case to lead the city. They will take part in a forum at Castlemont High School starting at 6 p.m. To the White House now, where President Trump's first cabinet meeting looked further into trimming the federal workforce. And as Natalie Brand reports, a familiar face was a key figure in the room.
President Trump's first cabinet meeting of his second term featured his senior advisor, Elon Musk, talking about the administration's Department of Government Efficiency.
DOGE is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste.
CBS News obtained a memo today directing agencies to prepare for large-scale reduction in force and submit reorganization plans by mid-March.
We have cut billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're looking to get it maybe to $1 trillion if we can do that.
Musk would not put a number on anticipated personnel cuts.
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well.
As the administration's layoffs impact communities around the country, cities and states are trying to help.
Arlington County, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., held a standing room only town hall for federal employees Tuesday night. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Trump ally, launched Virginia Has Jobs, a website aimed at connecting laid off workers with the state's 250,000 job openings.
The way to really think about it is a resource collection. A single point for individuals to look for opportunities.
Other states, including Maryland and Colorado, have launched similar efforts, with an estimated 80% of the federal workforce based outside of Washington, D.C.
Also, House Republicans have narrowly passed a framework for a new budget that would reframe the priorities of the U.S. government and pave the way for implementing President Trump's legislative agenda. Lawmakers adopted a budget resolution that proposes raising the debt ceiling by $4 trillion to go with a $4.5 trillion tax cut. At least $2 trillion in spending cuts, which could impact Medicaid, nutritional assistance, and veterans benefits. That bill passed the narrowly divided House by 2 votes after a pretty chaotic night, with 1 Republican and all Democrats voting no. President Trump worked the phones to convince some Republican holdouts to get behind that blueprint.
This is the first important step in opening up the reconciliation process. We have a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we are going to deliver the America First agenda. We're going to deliver all of it, not just parts of it, and this was the first step in that process.
House and Senate Republicans will now have to come together and agree on a budget plan to get something on the president's desk. Senate GOP lawmakers have already expressed some key differences, including wanting to avoid deep cuts to Medicaid. Well, then after today's cabinet meeting, President Trump was asked about it. He said, quote, "We're not going to touch it. We are going to look for fraud." Still ahead at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, empty for years now. One Bay Area city is looking to bring back businesses to these storefronts. And let's take another live look outside before we head to break. The nicest story of the day. It's a really lovely day outside. Entire Bay Area. We'll be right back. Like a lot of Bay Area cities, South San Francisco is trying to find ways to fill vacant downtown storefronts. Many of them have been standing empty since 2020. So as Max Darrow reports, they're taking a page out of a few other cities' books to hopefully bring new life downtown.
Yes, catering is a big part of our business here.
With 10 years in business in downtown South San Francisco,
it's very good.
Leroy Douglas has found his recipe for success as the owner of Flava's Jamaican Grill.
The rent for businesses here are kind of high, but other than that, it's a good place to have business.
His jerk chicken is among the key ingredients. But in recent years, many small entrepreneurs here haven't been able to find their recipes. Take a walk down Grand Avenue and you'll see for lease signs up on just about every block.
We have at least 10, which in a fairly small downtown is a lot. It's sad because it's not the most appealing thing to see coming down Grand Avenue.
Katie Donner is a city employee working to change that.
South City has a special place in my heart, and I really just enjoy working here and wanting to help our businesses and our community members succeed.
Donner and South City are in the process of rolling out a pilot program to make it easier for small businesses to open downtown and fill vacant spots. The plan would involve offering short-term discounted leases at city-owned storefront properties for local businesses that want to open permanent locations.
So Grand Avenue market rate rent is about $2 per square foot. With this program, we are going to propose $1 per square foot.
On top of that, up to a $10,000 tenant improvement credit.
And I hope with the movement of this program that it'll get spaces filled.
The idea is similar to programs that have rolled out in other cities like Santa Cruz and San Francisco. There would be an application process. Donner says the city has identified 3 spaces so far they're hoping to fill. That includes this former barbershop that the city recently acquired, still with its bones well intact.
And hopefully by next winter, we will be seeing these businesses open.
There has been some pushback to the idea from some business owners who feel like they had to find their way without any help from the city. But back in the kitchen, Douglas is of the mindset a rising tide will lift all ships.
If we could fill up all these places, I'm sure there will be more foot traffic in here.
Better for his business and better for the place he's chosen to do business.
So the plan is still being finalized. Donner says they're going to make another presentation to the city council at the end of March. San Francisco started a program like this back in 2023. They call it Vacant to Vibrant. More than 900 businesses applied for 9 spots in the first round. The city says 7 of those 9 ended up signing long-term leases. Now the program features 15 storefronts across downtown, and it just expanded to Union Square. As we celebrate Black History Month, we are shining a spotlight on a local musician who passionately shares his heritage and his roots. Keenan Webster has a deep connection to gospel and West African music. He performs at public libraries in Marin County, blending his musical influences and connecting with people. Webster aims to inspire other people through his passion for sharing his culture.
We want people to see where the source of a lot of the music that we hear today come from.
You can catch Keenan's full story tonight at 5 right here on KPIX. All right, back to our first alert weather now. Let's take another live look outside. Gorgeous blue skies there in the Santa Clara Valley. Let's check back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
All right, what can we do to enjoy this beautiful day? We got to get creative because we're halfway through the day already, and this afternoon we're dealing with beautiful blue skies and daytime highs well above average. So start thinking a little bit ahead. Blue skies above me right now. Just about 24 hours ago, we were still dealing with foggy conditions. The dense fog advisory yesterday was a little bit of a tease ahead to what we're going to see more this summer, but we're also getting a little tease ahead when it comes to summer-like weather today, too. I mean, we're talking about low 70s along the coast. This is a beach day, if you ask me. But if you're like me and you live in San Francisco, maybe you want to go to a park instead just to enjoy this beautiful sunshine. You make your way down into the Santa Clara Valley today. We're sitting in the upper 70s. Take advantage of this beautiful weather because we're going to see it today, tomorrow, lasting until Friday. But make sure you're wearing sunscreen. Make sure you're taking good care of yourself and continuing to hydrate, too. We have breezy conditions offshore, just closer to Half Moon Bay. That'll die down into the afternoon hours today. We kind of talked about this earlier. We'll see light winds tomorrow heading into our Friday forecast. And while we're seeing drier conditions day by day, that changes. It flips a page as we head into this weekend as a cold front moves in. Not only is it going to give us more showers in the forecast, it's also going to give us cooler temperatures and some breezier conditions right around the corner as we head into Saturday and Sunday. And the Climate Prediction Center is showing wetter than normal conditions for the whole state of California as we head into the next 6 to 10 days. So let's head over into the 7-day map real fast. I want to show you a couple things. We take a look at today compared to, just 6-7 days away from now. What a contrast. Today we have daytime highs about 10 to 15 degrees above average. We're right back down to the low 60s, upper 50s heading into this weekend for our inland areas. It's going to feel a lot cooler right around the corner. So seriously, I said it earlier, take advantage of the forecast today, or at least tomorrow. Tomorrow's looking very similar, just with a little bit more clouds in the forecast. We'll cool down into the low 60s by Friday. That cold front sweeps in. It brings in showers and some unsettled weather into this weekend and early next week. By Monday and Tuesday, we can still see more showers in the forecast. And notice how daytime highs, they don't creep up at all. We're still sticking in the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the next 6 to 7 days. We'll keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Jess. The entertainment world is mourning the loss of actor Michelle Trachtenberg. According to a source with the NYPD, her death does not appear to be suspicious. He said she had recently been dealing with an undisclosed medical issue. Trachtenberg was a former child star known for the 1996 film Harriet the Spy. She was later part of the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and had a reoccurring role on Gossip Girl. Trachtenberg was 39 years old. Coming up next on our Health Watch, those weight loss drugs are gaining popularity for heart health. How doctors and patients say they are using them as a tool. February is recognized as Heart Health Month, and this year, cardiologists are highlighting the benefit of those GLP-1 drugs. They say meds like Ozempic, Trulicity, or Wegovy can be a tool for losing excess weight, which can hurt the heart. One study showed GLP-1 drugs reduce the risk of stroke, heart attack, and death by 20% for overweight patients. Now, more cardiologists are prescribing these weight loss drugs.
One of the big things that really causes or drives these numbers of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high sugar is your weight or obesity.
Experts also support using these GLP-1 drugs for heart health. They say it could help save money because the U.S. spends more than $100 billion treating heart disease each year. We'll be right back. Well, apparently the tooth fairy is tightening up her wallet. Delta Dental asked 1,000 parents and found the average payment for each lost tooth actually decreased by 6% last year. Kids here in the West are getting an average of $8.54 under their pillow. In the Northeast, tooth fairy shelling out close to $7. Kids in the South are getting $5.81 on average. And in the Midwest, the average payout is only $3.63. All sounds like inflation to me. Back in the 80s, it was only $1. That is it for the afternoon edition. Remember, we are streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app.